Welcome to Mapping Rosegard, Part 3. In this segment, we're going to be doing the ground around the houses and around the buildings. As you can see here, I've finished all the buildings. I also decided that these ones around the loop here were a little too close to the road, so I backed them off a little bit. But they're all set up. What we're going to do now is put in this fencing that we see faintly drawn on the map. And the grass yards around the buildings, and then outside the village, just right outside the village really, is where the farmland starts, and then there's going to be a little bit of gravel in certain areas. So we're going to put those textures in and start looking at it. We're going to start, I'm actually going to turn everything off, and I'm going to load up a few textures. So we're going to go ahead and import those. And they're going to be on this PC down here in my textures directory. I've got several. I'm going to try some of these different ones. I'm going to, here's my gravel. Here's the grass I want to use. Or is it this one? Actually, I think it's that one. So we're going to load this one. And I have it on the wrong layer, so let's move. There it is. Move to layer patterns. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be my grass, but that's too high resolution, so I'm going to shrink it down. I'm actually going to just do it up here and just make it 360. There we go. And then we can always change that later and rebuild the patterns if we need to. But I think that's where we want to start. Let's import a couple more. I want this gravel. And this one's going to have to shrink down a lot because those rocks are way too big for this map. But that's okay, so we're going to take that to 240. That's probably even not big enough, too big, so let's go 200. Alright, and I want to bring in the, nope, wrong, not open, import. So we're going to import over here, we're going to do under stone, where's stone? I have an asphalt texture that I'm going to put on the road. Right. And then I'm going to bring in, I have a couple different farmland textures. I can't decide if I want the one with the gaps in the rows or if I want a more filled in one like this one. But I think we're going to go with this one. So import is underground. It's the 63, this one. And that's just about the right size. So we will leave it like that. So now we're going to make textures out of this. So we're going to do the asphalt one first. And again, this is just object pattern, object to pattern, which is Alt-I. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to do the gravel, Alt-I, then the grass, Alt-I, and then the farmland, Alt-I. So now we can start actually putting these in. So let's turn the road back on in the background. We have this background 2 layer that I was using to do the rotation of the map, I'm going to delete that, and that's the layer we're actually going to use for, because I don't need it for that anymore. I'm going to rename it to ground, but we're actually going to start with the road here, and we're going to add in the, should be this one, and there's not much difference in the map here, but it's now the asphalt texture instead of just the gray. Then we're going to go in, and I'm going to start with this circle here, and I'm going to fill this in. Oops, wrong one. Well, I'll just move it. Just has to be contained in there, and I'm going to fill that in with the grass pattern, which was this one. Okay, we're going to put some hedges. This is actually there's rose bushes in here, which is where Rosegard gets its name from. But we're going to leave that there. And that looks pretty good for the grass. If we zoom in, we're actually going to turn this grid off. We don't need it anymore. In fact, it'll get in the way here as we're putting in some other things. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Grids, let's disable that. All right, and that looks pretty good. So we're going to just kind of freehand in some of these. So we're going to go here. And I want to make that line a little thicker. It's pretty small. It's a quarter of a millimeter. Let's make it a little thinner because I don't want the fence lines to be super strong, but I do want them to be there. And then again, we will fill this in with the grass pattern so we can see that. There's the grass around that house, and then we're going to go in and tweak the curve so that it is actually a curve and not. Alright, and then I'm going to move this one out a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to, we'll go back and do that around these other ones, but I'm going to fill in some of the more unique ones. I'll do those ones offline. So let's go ahead and draw. Now this area, the tech lab here is owned by the son of this one, so it's actually on what was originally their property. So it looks like we're going to need a bit of a curve in here. And we're going to have it come down to here. And for this part, it doesn't matter because it's going to be well hidden by the road. Alright, we'll go back and make that curvy. Alright, and then fill in the texture with the grass. Alright. Now I want to put a little path here in the front of these front of the house here. There's a little bit off the road. And we're going to fill that one in with the gravel texture, which is this one here. A little bit there. And then I want to put a little gravel path from this house over here. And so let's do that. And I may change my mind on this gravel texture, but we'll come back and address that. Let's see, I want to go here, and I'm just going to go one. Actually, escape. Let's just do it from here to here to here to here. And for some reason that one did not go where I wanted it. Alright, and then we'll fill that in with our gravel. So I got a nice little path there to the corner of that building. And then I'm going to draw a box in around the city center and fill it with gravel right here. Just a little bit of a gravel border around it. But then over in this larger area, I'm actually going to put in around the doctor's office a little bit, and then a field here by the city center of grass. That's weird. Why did it do that? Alright. Nope, that's the asphalt texture. There's the gravel. So there's a big grass field there. Now this is the schoolyard. So I'm going to, and it's a rectangular one as well. So this one's going to get a fence with grass in it. And I'm actually going to grab this and pull it out. Almost over there. And then I'm going to put a little gravel path here. Actually, I'm going to put, well, it's there. Let's go ahead and make it gravel. And then I'm going to put the, this is the robotic shop. It doesn't really have, need much in the way of grass around it, so I'm actually going to, but there is grass here, so it's not owned by the shop. I'm kind of winging this as I go, as you can see. Let's go ahead and put one of these houses in because I want to do this. I want to put this one in here. Here. Alright. And let's go and put the curve in that I want. That curve. And I'm actually going to make that one a cusp because I want to leave this straight for the most part there. And make that their grass. There's their yard. And I'm going to continue and do that around, but I want to come over here now. I'm going to do these two, or these three really quick, because I want to put in some farmland up here for the upper corner. So let's go. There we go. And then do this really quick. Actually, if I shift select all of these, I can make them all curvy at once. There we go. There's their yard. These are the original settlers here in the upper houses. Okay, so there's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a field in up here. And I'm just going to use a big rectangle. And it's going to come down here. And it's going to come down as far as the edge of that one. And this is where I'm going to put in my farm field. Alright, and I want to then send it to the back because it needs to be under all that grass. And when I fill in these other ones, it will be there, but I also want to come in now and put in a little bit of a boundary layer, and that's one of the things I want to use the gravel for. And so I'm going to come here. It's basically to keep the grass out of the farmland. I don't remember quite how far down that went, so I'm just going to do that. And again, I want to make this curvy. You, 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 you. So I'm just roughing this in for these ones. And then I'm gonna, oops. And remember on this scale, these things are 20, this is about a 20-foot wide easement around the grassland. And then we're going to fill that in with gravel. And then we're going to send it backwards, all the way to the back, and then forward one. And so we've got gravel around it. And just to be done, I'm going to put this one actually I won't. I'll leave that there for now. I'll go back in and filling these out. The other thing I'm going to put in is some trees. So I'm going to import. I've just got some trees. And I've got a number of different trees here. Let's do this one. Oh, unfortunately it has a colored background. I'm going to have to treat that one in GIMP and get it a transparent background. But we can import a different tree. Those are shrubberies. Some edge textures. I like this one. Let's import that tree. And we're going to take it and put it here in their backyard. And we're going to shrink it down because that's way, oops, way too big. Make another one. Rotate it. There's a couple trees in the backyard. So I'm going to go through and add uh, details like that. You know, I don't want that, the coloring there. I'll put this one over here in their yard. But I've got various other trees, and we're going to go through and that one has a white background that I'm going to have to clean up. So I just grabbed those off some free sites, and these can be moved. In fact, I think what I want to do is actually make another layer called trees and put it up there above road and move to layer trees. And that way, if I decide to, you know, like maybe have a bush hang over the road slightly, a tree hang over the road slightly, it can hang over the property line, and it's properly, you know, maybe it's sitting here in the corner like that. So, but there we go, and we'll call that for this particular video. See you on the next one where we will do the labeling probably.